Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what they have into Champion Select. What have these teams found out about each other? We just heard, KyWiKiD talking from Vulcan that they went into the game blind. None of these teams have really, or they didn't see Curse before the matches. Hasn't been the same between these two.
And Dignitas keeps their scrims almost more secretive than anyone. Cloud9's been publicizing their scrims, or rather, their opponents have been talking them up in the scrim settings. I wonder how well these guys have scouted each other.
We see a lot of the normal bans coming out. There was Kazakh's play seen by Reginald. Nobody wants to experience that again. The Kennen goes out. The Rise was played last game. KyWiKiD said that's been seeing a lot of bans as well. But the Jace goes through, I was just going to say.
It's exactly what happened last game, almost. It's just there's no Rise available in this one. We'll see if KiWiKiD's top lane Jace is more effective than Voyboy's was in the last game. I got to say, most of those bans are pretty much just targeted right at scarra again, but we were talking about these picks and bans earlier, Riv. There's no Diana ban at scarra right now. So is Cloud9 going to pick that one away? Because Balls plays a very good top lane Diana.
Yes. It's one of his huge picks. I think he may have even gone 2 Dianas in a row and during their promotion matches in the qualifiers. So Meteos, it actually looks like they're looking down the line, so they may not be picking for themselves here. It wouldn't be too bad to pick a jungler out. It really wouldn't hurt the hand of cards too much.
No, and the Zac is available. That's what Meteos really relied on during the qualifiers, but that was the pre-nerf Zac. We played the qualifiers on the 3.6 patch. We're currently on the 3.7, so it's actually like 1 day behind what was on live.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
Quickly locking in that Elise. I believe Meteos does play that, but we'll have to see if Balls decides to take another top lane. Ball's a fighter, Elise is a fighter, so they mix.
I feel like it's going to be the jungle Elise. That's what we've seen the most of in the past. And obviously the Thresh is just LemonNation control there.
And very fast picks coming in for Dignitas. It seems like they're considering what's being picked, but they want to line up right now.
And I think specifically that Caitlyn was against a Thresh saying, like, I need to be able to keep my distance. He doesn't particularly want to be able to get into auto attack range from Thresh because that stacking auto attack damage after he hasn't attacked in a really long time super stacks up on him, as well as Imaqtpie really having a track record of being extremely successful on Caitlyn. It's surprising he doesn't pick it more frequently.
And really just forming out to be a team that Dignitas looks like they could send a 2v1 mid here if they go for that along or Lulu or a Sona or something.
They can go wherever they want with that team comp right now. Exactly.
So we'll see. Scarra still has not shown his pick. Not a regular for them, but a 4th and 5th pick. Usually Scarra has it by the 3rd. We'll see what High and SnEaky do here. They've been spending a lot of time on this one.
Yeah, and the fact that they haven't picked the Diana yet is kind of telling me either they've practiced around it, they're worried about counters, but also there was the change in Diana where her shield would lower numbers, but it can stack with itself instead of refreshing itself once the 3 balls of the shield went around. Maybe that's dissuaded Scarra away from picking Diana again, but I'd actually kind of expect them to go for it here. It would be kind of strange since Dignitas has a bit of a poke composition right now, but he is just so comfortable on Diana, I can't see him going away from it.
What? His Gragas is there.
It's true. He's got a lot of his champions still up.
What can he play? They are taking a long time on this one. They're trying to formulate with the comp, though. Gragas would kind of push everybody away from that central position they want to put out. We're still
that would
looking.
That would be good against the Nasus trying to walk into fights.
12 seconds to lock this one in. Looks like KiWiKiD is going to be the one to do it. It hasn't been a long time. Scarra has noted that he himself isn't really that confident with his Orianna play, but like you said, we've had 6 weeks off.
It's a new season.
Well, he hasn't had as many.
Scarra did go to the All-Star game, and he practiced mainly for the All-Star game where he did not bring out the Orianna.
No.
So that's going to be a real big play for Scarra.
I like this a lot. You're going to get the Ballista. We're going to be able to get the Zac jump in here as we get the initiation down, but there is a bit of disengage here with the box, with what they can do. A good amount of escapes on the team. And
the Zed being picked by High, Zed had extreme success for High in the promotion tournament. He killed Prawley over and over again, but this is a slightly nerfed Zed. We've already seen one Zed shifter get obliterated by Reginald's Kha'Zix earlier. We'll see if this is a different style from High, because he locked that in real fast, like most of these picks were.
So our 3rd game of the day, showing again pretty much a fight comp and another somewhat poke comp. These guys coming in, they're going to have good turret pressure, they're going to have good engage pressure, but will they use it effectively? Curse kind of poked and then didn't engage on it. You know, Vulcan was really in their face. We'll have to see if you can continue. They don't have, Cloud9 doesn't have as many poke counters.
And I feel like Cloud9's team comp in particular is about trying to end the game quickly, as they have done in the promotion qualifier. We'll see if this game lasts longer than 28 minutes, win or lose, because if things go bad early game for them, they might not necessarily have the crazy late game scaling. It is actually a top lane Elise with the jungle Nasus that we had not called yet, so it's on Dignitas really to get the right initiations and play the laning phase just right.
We will have to see. Like you said, Cloud9 liking to play that aggressive push. Vulcan somewhat did it in the last game, but it's like they met a wall of not having enough money and not being able to aggress anymore. But Cloud9 is able to somehow surpass that. Like you said, we saw it in the promotion tournament, 28-minute games. We'll see if they can do it again, and they still have the same momentum coming in here on opening day. We're on to the Rift, and we're into Cloud9 versus Dignitas for your third matchup here on Super Week.
Here comes the Cloud9 hype train, because we just... Everyone's been talking about the scrims, and now we see them in the LCS, right? It's crazy that a team that was not in the split last time just made it through the promotion qualifier, has so many expectations coming into this, but this is what Cloud9 has turned themselves into with the quality of the players that are on their team and with almost how organized they have been throughout this entire process.
It's been a while since we've seen a Blitzcrank coming into the LCS, daydreaming, loving him. They let him play it a few times. Now we're going to see it mid, and with that pressure of overdrive, with the grab, this is kind of what the Doublelift and the team in the NA All-Stars, I should say, did to pressure mid lane, stop roam, and really give the jungler a lot of trouble.
And one of the best ways that LCS teams have been using Blitzcrank is in that 2v1 mid because of the buff control it provides. That is why Dignitas has warded 2 spots in Cloud9's red jungle, and that's also why Cloud9 is invading the other red, because they are expecting the buff control attempt from Dignitas as they roam through and get 2 wards of their own. Maybe we'll see a collision here.
Oh, there's Crumbzz. Crumbzz is like, yeah, they're below us. We need to mobilize right now. Keep the ball on the bus. Oh, they get the grab on the high. They had a bit of vision. They forced the flash. Not going to be too bad for a Zed lane, but he's still going to have to play a bit more careful.
It means he's going to have to rank up his Living Shadow a lot sooner, and he's going to lose out on maybe a little bit of early minion kills because he can't farm them from range as easily with his Q. But ineffectual wards for the most part, it just sets the stage for where Blitzcrank may be going. Patoy trying to get that early blue pull as well, deny Meteos.
I like the pink ward that went down just above them as well. Maybe they're going to try to come in and work on that. They know the flash is down. They may try to engage on that mid lane. LemonNation just missing a death sentence there. Looks like they're kind of invading, but not. They're really being edgy right now on both teams. Yeah,
and that's one. That's the first buff steal. Whereas Meteos isn't going down for the second one. Now Meteos is running over to his red buff. Crumbzz did use his smite on the blue buff, so he's probably not going to try to steal this red one, despite the ward coverage. Let's see. Maybe Dignitas is going to go for both.
Oh, they are. They went into the back lane, but the pink ward, they just set down on the top of that bush. That was after the engagement, like I said. It's going to be safety, really for high, but it helps out Meteos here, and hopefully they don't get his red.
Yeah, Cloud9's got to find a better response for this one than giving their buffs away. They pull it through the wall, and it's stealthed essentially going through. There's no ward coverage for Cloud9. It looks like Meteos just had both of his main jungle buffs stolen away by Dignitas.
Cripple your opponent in the beginning and make it easier for the rest of the run. Dignitas is trying to go right at the ankles of Cloud9 here. Already 3 minutes into the game. It's going to be hard mode for Meteos.
Yeah, a lot of farming going to have to be done. Looks like he's just going to meander up into this top lane and just leech some experience. Hey guys, my jungle's gone. Please, can I have some lane?
Can I hang out with you? Looks like he will. They're going to be going to lunch together. Looks like they might even try to grab a fast turret here and pressure out this mid lane so they can actually stop what's happening with that control of Blitzcrank being there.
And a lot of aggression going down bot lane. Double ignites burned.
Ooh.
But in the jungle, Crumbzz actually hasn't picked up too much of an experience lead on Meteos yet. It's mainly a gold and map pressure advantage. We'll see if that crazy aggressive move, it seems like it should work out amazingly, but Cloud9 does get the first turn out of all of this action.
They've been pushing, and like you said, it's 9 minions to 8 on that side, so Meteos is actually ahead considering he got the buffs given away and Crumbzz has not utilized them yet. He's still just farming like Meteos is, so that was a lot of movement for seamlessly nothing at this point. A little bit of a gold lead is still in favor of Cloud9 from that turret, and we'll see if they can break out this pressure of Blitzcrank middle.
And they are in the process of doing so. There are 4 people roaming towards middle right now. They're actually going to get a jump on Patoy and Imaqtpie here if they do something crazy.
It's going to be big. They both have their flash up. KiWiKiD level 4, so he has net leveled as well. There's the flash and a net.
having to flash away from the flash hook is Patoy, and there's now the pressure coming down from Cloud9. Meteos, I feel like, reacted amazingly to what Crumbzz has put up on them, because you look at the total gold between the junglers, and thanks to the extra 150 from the turret, Meteos has more gold than Crumbzz, despite getting both of his buffs stolen.
So there's something to think about. You can be ahead if you grab a turret, even if you lose your buffs. It's kind of
Even if you lose your buffs.
good numbers to know. 5 minutes into the game, we have 500 gold in favor of Cloud9. They're still holding that steady. Balls trying to keep this lane so that favor does not sway either way. They want to keep increasing that. Zed now coming to the bottom lane. We're going to see if High can produce something here.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't have too much faith since Balls is quite low and Scarra does have his flash up. I feel like he was going down just to hold fight mid.
LemonNation getting caught up quite hard here in a 3v2 situation. SnEaky trying to do it. He doesn't have enough mana. It only would have been blobs for Crumbzz, and they come up with first blood.
Patoy landed a real nice hook to start that one out, and since they already had a 3v2 situation coming in, LemonNation had previously burned his flash to try to initiate as well. They were able to punish.
Now the gold sways back slowly into the favor of Dignitas here as teams are starting to get a bit more aggressive. That first turret being dropped really has not phased Dignitas whatsoever.
Yeah, and look at this. Crumbzz just hitting level 4 now. 5 minutes and 40 seconds in. He finishes off his second double buffs. He'll have the buffs for longer, but he really hasn't pulled an experience advantage ahead of Meteos here.
He should be, yeah, keeping a minute on up to 5 minutes to be level 5. He is really keeping himself in the jungle, even though he's had all those buffs. See, it's 6 minutes now. They go ahead and again pressure everyone mid. Cloud9, like you said, they like to have fast games. That means we're going to have fast turrets.
Yeah, Meteos is not playing as a jungler in this game, as Crumbzz actually successfully burns the flash of SnEaky just by cowabunging over that wall right there. Pretty good move.
Getting himself now to safety. We'll see what they can produce. It looks like KiWiKiD is going to go back, get his first buy. Zed looking to go possibly again. We saw the Blade of the Rune King coming out in the first purchase from Shifter. We'll see if it's the same thing for High. It works out well, keeps him in range, allows you to get those kills locked down with the death mark. He is in the bottom lane versus Scarra now, though, who's doing quite well for himself.
And Scar has to be a little careful in that lane. Since he started Tear of the Goddess, he does not have much health against High.
He was doing quite well for himself.
As soon as High hits 6, he goes in for him because Scar didn't have the defenses.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Jinxed him.
Here we go. We're going to have to see if they can do it once more. Crumbzz looking like he's going to slingshot over the wall, but he holds tight onto that one. They did not get a pull range from Patoy, so they back off 1-1. Things have been evened up here by the movement of High into the bottom lane. He starts to go back up top now, but we've seen a swap. Looks like they go on to SnEaky in mid. Balls has moved to the top lane, as I was calling that swap.
Still 1 turret to 0 for Cloud9. They've evened the kills thanks to High, as you say, and KiWiKiD has not really provided many advantages for him. He's level 5 here to Balls' level 7 on Elise, so things are not turning that well for Dignitas right now.
There's that thing about chaos really wreaking havoc on a team, and it looks like Dignitas, they have been able to transition, but those transitions have kept them under-leveled right now, so it may not have been the right move so far, but they're going to try to keep lanes safe. They're not trying to produce, or not trying to make anything happen right now, so they're in an okay position.
I'm very impressed by the way Cloud9 responded to having both of their buffs stolen away.
Yeah.
Instead of sucking people out of the lanes to lend support where it wouldn't have benefited them early on, they stayed in lanes, got the lane experience, the turret pressure, and transitioned it through while making sure Crumbzz wasn't able to pull off any ganks with those buffs. It was expertly done.
And Dignitas, even though they probably would have still, obviously looking for the late game with those next purchases of the tiers, looking to stack those up. So they're just going to be waiting to really get that money income from that.
And we'll have to see how Cloud9 tries to turn that around, because we know how quickly Cloud9 likes to win games. 28 minutes was their longest game in the Summer Promotion Tournament, and they're going to look to accelerate this one as soon as SnEaky probably gets a Bloodthirster and High gets his Blade of the Ruined King. We might see even more aggression from them.
KiWiKiD going in on the top, or getting gone in on in the top lane. Meteos and Balls going very hard. The repel has been used, so they really don't have the catch up there.
Nice
but there's
done.
the cocoon, the wither to come out. KiWiKiD will not make it out of this one. No, the flash is forced to be used. Meteos has blue, but he just can't get the wither up. There it is. It comes in. A few more Qs. Who do they want to give this kill to? They're kind of walking it around. Balls says, I need it. Give it to me.
Absolutely, Balls is who they want to give that kill to. Top lane 1v1 against KiWiKiD will be so key if he can get an edge in there. And despite the flash, he was in way too deep. That was KiWiKiD. He just could not make an escape from the flash Nasus with it.
So Cloud9 picking up a second kill, guarding this turret very well. The hook on to KiWiKiD, forced to flash out. Still has his barrier up for a bait engage, though.
Yeah, and Dignitas was not able to counter that pressure with a 3v2 man advantage mid. They are just as low as the two they were pushing against, and all lanes pushing now for Cloud9, whereas Crumbzz still not level 6, 9.5 minutes into the game in the jungle.
So tough, and he's been to lanes. There's just been 3 or 4 people in the lane, so it's not like the minions are going to ramp up that much when that many people are in lane. He's really getting hurt on that. Under-leveled at this point, but still has a kill for himself, so he can still get to that point in this game. He's using that money. I think he's actually holding on to quite a bit. Has to be at this point. No, he only has 300 gold right now to the 1,300 of Nasus, who just brought us up Ninja Tabis and Vision for control of the map.
Dignitas' whole team is feeling very under-leveled right now. They just haven't been able to keep up with the way Cloud9 has been splitting around. A lot of that has actually just been Meteos running around and using Spirit Fire in lanes. Their whole strategy is just to push and then catch Dignitas when they're around without wards. Even alone, Sneaky is able to stand with Scarra right now because Scarra is full-on in farm mode. After Scarra died to high with that Zed, I feel like his aggression part of his brain just turned off.
I feel like in the beginning of the game, like you said, the buffs kind of don't mean anything that they were taking anymore. With taking that many buffs, should there have been more aggression from Crumbzz in the lane, knowing that Meteos wasn't there to catch up?
Well, I feel like that's why Cloud9 played it so well, and that's one of the reasons Dignitas hasn't been able to respond, is that Cloud9 ignored it. And that is not what Dignitas expected to happen. They were expecting a response and a play around it. And because Patoy put so much pressure in the jungle at the start of the game, it allowed even more pressure to be put by Cloud9 into the lanes, and that was just a greater amount of advantage.
Working it very well right now, Cloud9, on their reactionary measures. 11 minutes into this one, they're not up too much, just about 1,000 gold here with a turret in their favor. Going to be taken down in the top lane. KiWiKiD still holding that one strong. Balls picked up a kill just a few minutes ago to recap some of the slow action that's been going on. A ward going down, they're going to get it. Oh, it times out, he doesn't get it.
Almost got it.
Almost got it.
He had the pink ward down. He was trying to get a little bit of that money's back. I wouldn't be too surprised if Cloud9 goes for a dragon very soon, but a fight down bottom, Scarra goes down.
That's a dead Scarra.
Goodbye.
That was pretty nice, actually, coming over the wall with the flash, hook, play. They're able to just lock him up. A quick kill for Sneaky. That's going to be one for him, and this is going to start spelling bad for Dignitas. It's one kill, but they're going all around. One for High, one for Balls, now one for Sneaky. Those carries they have coming in.
They're seemingly one step ahead because now Dignitas is trying to counter that kill bottom with a 3-man push mid, and I really want to track how that goes down. But even if that happens, it's most likely a bottom turret given up. I'd say the mid turret is definitely more important, though.
Finally putting that damage onto the turret in the mid lane. They get it taken down. Look like Meteos will not be there to assist too much. He's going to go down to the bottom lane. High says, I got this. They may try to pressure the dragon to get that counter onto the gold.
As well they should, because they know Scarra is still making his way back into the fight, and they also know exactly the state of Dignitas' team since they just saw them in mid lane. Now it's Dignitas' attempt to counter by pushing Balls top.
See if they can get this in. Balls looks like he could actually hold his turret here. It's at full health. Another wave coming in. He's going to be able to get an extra Q rather onto Crumbzz. There's very good damage there. Looking at Crumbzz, I believe he still does have his passive up. Yes, he has not gone down yet, so they could look to dive this, but it looks like they'll stay safe with High on the way.
Real scary spider up in the top lane there, completely saving his turret, mainly because of the spike he was able to place on Crumbzz after he landed the stun there. And now KiWiKiD really has to worry about it. High jumping over the wall. KiWiKiD trying to make a great escape. I don't think High can get this.
High isn't at full items really whatsoever. That death mark not going to do too much. High really tunnel visioning onto this one. They think they have it with Elise on the backside. No, they're just turning around just at the right time.
So a good escape by KiWiKiD there. High all-in him when KiWiKiD was really going to be going back anyway. So that's a bunch of cooldowns burned by Cloud9 and diminishes the strength of this push that Cloud9 now puts mid.
There is Crumbzz just on the outside, waiting for Crumbzz to get another successful gank in here. He is 1-0 for the team. He was the one to have the first hand and kill on that blood. Let's see if he can do it again. Looks like he's making his way again. It's really just been shield or you being utility for the team for him, being there when they need him. Nothing has been an offensive move.
Not really, and Scar is still just trying to farm up as much as possible here. Tear of the Goddess means he's going to have a bit of a slow start on Orianna, especially since he's Orianna in a long lane because Blitzcrank's tried to get zone control of this mid part of the map. Dignitas has been known, especially when they requalified against Team Summon, to be able to come back from stuff like this. They lost outer turrets many times in those games and then came back in team fights. They're going to have to do something similar here.
Oh, balls. He's going to... Oh, my gosh! Holy crap! KiWiKiD's HP is going to get zeroed out here, and he gets complete... I thought he was going to get 2v1'd and killed. Never mind.
Yeah! I can't believe that. It's the Magic Pen build right now. Elise has extremely high base damages, and because he has Sorcerer's Shoes and a Haunting Guise, he's actually sitting at 44 magic penetration right now, and KiWiKiD had 47 magic resist, so that was as close to true damage as you could get from Elise. Walked right into that and got eaten.
Literally, he just liquidized the entire body in one strike. 15 minutes into this one, a large push into mid lane as Crumbzz throws his body literally at the fight. Looks like we're going to get the first passive out of him here. It looks like they're going to save the turret, though.
That was probably a worthwhile sacrifice, but it also means that Cloud9 has even fewer obstacles as they continue to push now. They know that Zed ultimate is no longer a big threat in a team fight, and Cloud9 trying to put the clamps on here for Dignitas, getting pushed back and baited on that blue.
They put the pink ward down. They're like, there's a ward. We'll come back for it. But we need the blue right now. Crumbzz is able to grab that. And they're not going to go back. No, they did get it. So we see pushing down in the mid here. Could be the gold. Command Shockwave at the last second. Flashed out of by SnEaky.
Sneaky flash right there.
Sneaky.
Making sure Scarra's ultimate is down. Did not want to get caught out of position there.
That was close.
KiWiKiD's got to be a little bit careful now. He's not going to be building a Hex Drinker, it seems like, for a while because he's got all these other core items he's going to want to be working on for Jace. It just means he has to be even more cautious about where balls goes.
And what is the point on that if they don't quickly engage in here in mid? We'll wait for a second. Oh, just missing the death sentence. Look like they'll take down this turret. When do you say, actually, I have to switch my build? I have to go for MR right now.
I think you'd have to do it earlier. I think 16 minutes into the game might be a little late to go for that item. If he wanted the Hex Drinker, he needed to get it earlier. At this point, he just has to deal.
All right, we'll have to see what he can deal with. KiWiKiD not going to be in this fight with his team. He is up against Elise. A great pull onto high, puts him towards the back line, but he goes down
kill
before being able to get the death mark down. A second kill from Meteos. This is good for the team. If KiWiKiD can farm it up and his team can win fights, they will be able to scale themselves back into this.
Getting the high kill was good because it got him before the ultimate, which thought maybe Dignitas would be able to win a team fight, but then they completely disengaged after that. If Dignitas wanted to really pull themselves back into this game, they would have had to try to take that for more because it was a 4v4. They just did not have the confidence to continue.
So 17 minutes, just that, pretty much 2 minutes have passed that fight. All this action already. These teams so much more in each other's faces than the rest of the games we've had so far. 17 minutes, 7 kills. It doesn't seem like a lot, but these guys are actually back and forth for the consideration that teams are taking today in their games on opening day.
SnEaky just about snuck around the back, but he decided that was a little too dangerous and obvious for his tastes. Scarra didn't have his ultimate for that jungle fight, which, thinking again, is probably why they decided not to engage in, but it is up now, so if Dignitas wants to try anything, it soon, knowing that Crumbzz has all of his stuff up if he wants to go in, and that Scarra could combo, but based on where Scarra is running right now, it seems like Dignitas is still trying to keep up with these giant creep waves.
It's Cloud9 on the global offensive, and it really is global because you look at the CS inventories, and they're behind in everything CS, but they're up 3,000 gold.
Yeah, 3 turrets to 1,
Yep.
and the dragon. Plus, I'd also say Meteos has taken, like, he hasn't taken 99 farm in the jungle. He's actually taken a lot of that out of the lanes, which is why his laner's farm looks a little bit lower. It's not because the laners have been getting out-farmed necessarily by Dignitas, because you add up all of the minion kills, and it's actually very close to even.
High push in the bottom lane. They're keeping that pressure on. Really no... I guess there couldn't be. They don't really have the damage just yet, but not even many wards towards the top side of the map. Jace is going to be pushing, though. KiWiKiD, no teleport on him, so he will not be a part of this fight. It looks like another free dragon for Cloud9 here. They've really been reacting perfectly to anything that Dignitas is trying to do. Dragons for turrets, 1 for 1. This dragon is just going to be theirs.
Perfect timer on the dragon there, and this seems like Cloud9 is very comfortable with the state of the game right now. And this is actually something that I feel like happens with teams that have very good scrim records, is once they get a little bit of an edge in a scrim, a lot of times teams don't try like super crazy things to go against them, and they'll maybe just surrender and let the game go in, or just let the other team kind of push through. And that's the mode that Cloud9 is in right now. They're just trying to execute their strats to end the game. What good scrim teams may be weak against, though, and hopefully Dignitas recognizes, is the oddball strategies the crazy comeback attempts might be something they don't have practice against, because you generally don't see that type of play in scrims.
Right, it's not what are our opponents doing, it's what are we going to do. So if you can get inside your opponent's head, then you just stop that right away. Dignitas hasn't really been able to create too much since we said before these early blue and red buff pulls that they took away from Meteos, who has gone debuffed through the early part of his jungle, now doing very well for his team at 1-0-1, looking to pick up the Aegis after that Golem, as the Golem has just been finished on Crumbzz recently.
And it's a strange kind of really well-executed autopilot that Cloud9 is on right now. They've grabbed the oracles for LemonNation. They're trying to deny vision around the map. They're maybe going to be going for a Peel Baron soon. They've already taken down the outer 3 turrets. Everything they're doing is very procedural right now, and it smells that Dignitas needs to get some disruption going on. Otherwise, they're just going to get picked apart by Cloud9.
They have a few good core items to make this happen, but Scarra still so squishy at level 12. It looks like they're all pretty squishy. Look at that, level 14 balls coming into this. He's already going for a Sunfire Cape, and that push is just going to get worse, but better. And
then one nice thing about Scarra's build, even if it's a little squishy, is if Hai tries to go onto Scarra, he can dodge out of the ultimate with his Zhonya's Hourglass, so he has a bit of safety, but that doesn't protect really anyone else. Hai has absolute target selection here. He could still blow up Imaqtpie, Crumbzz, or even KiWiKiD.
And this is a different fight that we've seen. Now the AD carry, Imaqtpie rather, and Hai are out of this one. We will get KiWiKiD and Balls if they try to engage. Looks like they're going to back off, though. They know they need QtPie if they really want to go hard on this.
And it does seem like Cloud9 is just out farming the lanes right now. Maybe they're waiting for longer advantages, or maybe they're waiting to see what Dignitas has in store. I'm not sure if this is the right play for them at this point, because their gold lead is only 3,500, but it's definitely what they're having planned right now.
It's kind of like, you have it, where are you guys going to go with it at this point? They're kind of waiting back, like we said before, not getting lazy or complacent, but just really waiting for a mistake from Dignitas. They know it can't be made. KiWiKid's going to go back in the top lane. See, he has about 800 gold on him. He may be able to get himself some items, but it's not going to be too much to make a gigantic impact. And you get attack speed there, or it's going to be a Mirror Mana, so that's a pretty big impact.
That's going to be a nice
charge that up
potentially for Balls. Even though there is already a Sunfire Cape, so that physical damage from the Mirror Mana isn't going to be cutting through as much.
Ooh.
And this is something that is a little surprising to some people, but the Sunfire Cape on Balls is more effective because of the Magic Pen he's already built. So Magic Pen on Balls is much better for Sunfire Cape than, say, a Renekton would have, because you're never going to build magic penetration on Renekton. But that Sunfire persistent damage is going to be doing substantially more work for Balls than it would another top lane.
And we see the quick Lucidity boots right after that purchase coming out, or the finish of the Lucidity boots. That's when he went back to build after that Mirror Mana. So he can poke. They need to get that damage out. They need to start getting lane control. If he can't be with his team, they aren't going to get any lanes.
And Imaqtpie is going to be doing as much as possible to try to farm this one out. Maybe bait Hai into some kind of kill here, but Hai is not to be fooled as he's backing away, knowing that Dignitas is going to bear down on him.
They're still keeping pretty good vision. He's got that deepish ward right below the red buff, so he can keep himself safe unless they go all the way around the ring, around the Rosie. His team's staying mid, and they have very good communication right now, as well as Dignitas. They say, yes, we can split again in the 1-3-1, and we'll just keep this going steady.
Yeah, they're just really trying to keep farm. At this point, Cloud9 is channeling farm onto the people they want. I think Hai really wants to get that last Whisper sooner rather than later. I don't know if they're comfortable fighting before it, but they might be forced into something here, knowing KiWiKiD split pushing the top lane, or Cloud9 might just disengage, go get that big cannon minion wave in the top lane, and continue to channel farm to whoever they want to have it.
Pushed off here. Balls is going to tend to the top lane rather. Dragon coming up in just about a minute. We'll see what teams decide to put a lot of focus on that. Patoy with the oracles makes his way to the backside. SnEaky getting hit up here. Ooh, a sombrero by Scarra. Crumbzz got too far away. For 24 minutes, it looks like they're going to not continue to engage. They back off, and SnEaky makes it out alive.
They got to work on their ballista combo a little bit. That was slight misfire. It would have probably granted them a kill onto SnEaky. Not sure, though. He did have the flash. He could have flashed once he saw the shockwave animation anyways, but it still burned the flash, still burned Scarra and Crumbzz ultimate, and I think perpetuates this farm game these guys are going.
And there's Hai going a little too ham on this. KiWiKiD gets hit up with the death mark. Wasn't enough. The Q coming in from Crumbzz is a slow. KiWiKiD turns around from downtown. The fadeaway kill. 5-3 now as Dignitas trying to make the comeback slowly.
I gotta say, that was a great turnaround by Dignitas. KiWiKiD did not die to the all-in. Cloud9 wanted to go in because they knew Crumbzz and scarra had no ultimates. Also because they knew that Imaqtpie wasn't even there, so turning that around in an unexpected fight really caught me off guard, gives Dignitas a bit of an edge.
High going in strong on that one. Thought he could get the instant kill. Thinking you're more powerful than you are can get you in trouble. Crumbzz just on the backside pauses the slingshot as Sneaky can walk away with that speed steroid.
And Dragon up again. I feel like Cloud9's going to burst this one down, and this could be an opportunity for Dignitas to contest. They give up the Dragon, but maybe fight afterwards. Not going to happen. I feel like scarra just went back to base.
They have Nasus out there. They seem pretty confident about this fight. They're 4 strong. They have balls there as well. Forced to flash on Patoy. Do they want the oracles enough? No, they are going to back off.
So this is a very close game, actually.
Yeah.
It seems like Cloud9's kind of been in control for a while, but they haven't taken any huge advantages off of Dignitas yet. It could happen in any moment, because when you're keeping a team kind of this apprehensive the whole time, sometimes you can just roll over them later. The later this game gets, the more important the fights become.
And the more important that flash hook is going to become. KiWiKiD goes 100-0. The repel on to Imaqtpie. He cannot get away from the peel. He's finally there, but he's withered, so he's not going to do any damage. He keeps going back. KiWiKiD now out of the fight with 100 HP. Crumbzz there. The passive should be up, but he still goes out of the fight. Meteos only getting tickled by the ace in the hole.
That's not that bad for Dignitas yet, because of 1-for-1 in what was Cloud9 having a 4v5. Now it's Cloud9 actually trying to make a real big play off of this one. There's no Nasus ultimate to spike this down, but there is a Sneaky, and Dignitas trying to come up from the back. The smite just went back to base. It's a tricky contest here for Dignitas because that Baron's getting low pretty quickly.
Patoy looking for the hook grab. The sun is in his eyes, and he gets LemonNation. Oh, scarra.
They keep going in.
Kill the dissonance. The Baron is going very low. It's down to 200. The steal. It's not going to be there. Goes to Meteos. Will they continue the fight? Do they have enough? The wither is onto scarra, so Patoy is trying to peel. Crumbzz now getting hit up by high. They got a good amount of damage, but he's able to get that first one off. That shield coming in from scarra really stopping a lot of the damage, and they may try to go back in. Looks to get the slow, but it's just going to be the pressure to get their own blue.
The biggest reason that worked for Cloud9 is Imaqtpie never had a chance to go back to base and chop. He was about a 25% health, sitting duck for High to go in and throw his Deathmark ultimate onto him. No contest was capable by Caitlyn there. Even though scarra and Patoy tried, they were only able to get 1 kill off of it, which is an easy trade for Cloud9 to pick up that Baron. Really smart call by Cloud9, knowing they had a smite there, as well as a low chance of Dignitas contesting.
Very helpful to get scarra some kills here. The Zanya is now on him. That Seraph Embrace finished up. You can just see KiWiKiD on the bottom left, or KiWiKiD rather, on the bottom left-hand part of that screen. A big sigh. A little shake of the head, but just shaking it off, getting himself ready here. These guys are definitely making the moves they need to get themselves back in the game.
Because KiWiKiD was the one who got hit by the thresh hook at the start of all those engagements, so he's got to definitely shake that off more so, because the team may or may not be blaming him for what happened afterwards.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of keeping it together, now having to repel a Baroned up team trying to push down their mid lane.
That is a lot of damage onto that turret. It's only been about 7 to 8, 9 now, 10 auto attacks from 2 people, and it looks like it's going to be Patoy going down. He gets taken out instantly. There's the repel down. It's going to be the frenzy, but he only gets a bit of damage off. Let's Bounce goes in. Where's the ultimate coming in? It's gone off from Orianna already. It looks like they are going to continue in. Shock Blast on LemonNation takes him down. A 4v2 as they stand strong in front of their turret, and it's just going to be a lot of AoE being thrown around.
Still a 2-for-1 for Cloud9. Dignitas should not have been standing at that turret that had no health. They were not ready to fight that one. scarra tried to ultimate off of Patoy when they were in that one, but it just was not enough as Cloud9 steamrolled through, and with the Baron regen, looking to take more.
Sneaky just goes, catches the axe, catches another one. They're still going in at a high. It's going to be to the skies for KiWiKiD. They're going to try this fight. scarra goes down. KiWiKiD is forced to walk away from the situation. They're going to watch this inhibitor turret goes down. Balls is very low. They may try to capitalize on 1 kill, but it's a double kill for Sneaky coming in. It does not look like they can stop them.
Sneaky was 101 about 30 seconds ago. Now he's 4-0-2, and I gotta say the rest of Cloud9 is what's enabling SnEaky to just run at people. There's no threat on him. He can catch all of his axes and just continue to pressure down. They may be going for more here.
They're absolutely crushing this down to consider that Meteos had both buffs stolen in the beginning of this game. Again, a 20-minute game for Cloud9. This is now in the LCS. The best of one did not phase them, and they're gonna come through here at 29 minutes to take down Dignitas on opening day.
The longest game Cloud9 has played really in the studio is only 29 minutes long. It felt a little slow in the middle, but as we were saying, they just flipped a switch and went for it. Every opportunity that they saw that was clean and clear, they capitalized on.